In Chapter 2, we're going to create a new DGNDB, which is a ConceptStation file format. So we're going to go ahead and open up ConceptStation. And in here we can go to a new one, or we can actually open up different ConceptStation files that we already have. In this case, we're going to create a new one. So once we go to new, it's going to load up a map. Usually it'll kind of load it up in the last place that you created a file in, or it'll try to locate you. You can zoom in and zoom out locations and try to find where you want to create your project. In this case, we're going to create one around Bighorn. So we're going to zoom around and see if we can find Bighorn, which we do right there. These map locations are limited in size, so you can only have a certain size of a map to create your ConceptStation file. It will tell you if you are too large, but what you do is you click on this square or the shape, and you just draw a shape or a square, a rectangle, around the area that you want to create your map or your file. You can view it differently if you want. Right now it's viewing streets. You can have it lighten up the map or go dark. You can take a look at the satellite image, what it's going to try to download later. You can look at streets and satellites. There are other options here, different colors, different things you can look at, high contrast, all kinds of different ones. It's just viewing how you want to see your map in this window. Over to the right there, we have a name that we can give our file that we're going to be working on. In this case, we're going to call it Bighorn. Okay, and it gives it that file extension DGNDB. The file location, this is where it's going to try and store all the files that it needs to create this file. Okay, so the location there is in a particular location on the C drive. The seed file, there's one that comes with the program, or you can pick another DGNDB file that you've used in the past. And that'll set up all your settings. The coordinate system, this is very important in this product. You want to make sure that you have the coordinate system that you're either going to try to export out to or import things into. For this one, it kind of narrows it down based on the square or shape that you've drawn out in your map. So it kind of knows that we're near Missouri. We have the NAD 83 2011 Missouri State Plane. And then that would also be in US foot. So we can pick that coordinate system, and everything we do, import and export, will be in that coordinate system. You can also edit that box that we created out there for our shape. We can go out and increase the size or decrease the size. If that box is red, then that means it's too big. In this case, it's blue, so we can go ahead and create that. So once you hit the create button, it's going to go out and create all the files that it needs to create this one DGNDB file. Okay, then how do you want to import your data? Do you have local files that you want to bring in? You can use the Geocoordination services, or we can skip it for now and decide later. So I hit skip on that. I'm going to come out, and it's just a blank file. There's nothing in it. I haven't imported or brought anything in to this file yet. There's the backstage. That's what this is called. This location has all of the items that we can do inside of ConceptStation. Conceptualize, visualize. We can work on templates, quantities and costs. We can create a new one or open one. Our Geocoordination services is here. We can also save this as another project if we want. We can import data, export data, and then we can also attach 3D images and objects to this. We can take a look at the settings here. We can get some help. The help documentation is not great here. Information and exit. Information will allow you to get information on this file. Let's take a look at the settings. In the settings, you have General, Visualize, Geocoordination Service, Scalable Mesh, and Network. For the General, you can have it compact the file on the closing. You can do circular vertical curves, left side driving if you wanted, and then the display units, how the units are going to display out there. US survey feet is typically how we'll do that. And then after you create the file, what do you want the program to do? You can have it automatically skip like we did here. We hit skip, or you can have it go to another spot. The background color is set to white currently, but you can change that to a different color. Visualize. On that portion of it, you can have it save however often you want. I would probably increase this up a little bit because the autosaves will interrupt you often. Okay, and then you can tell it how you want the resolution to be set out there. It depends on your computer speed processing. You might want to set this low if you have an older machine. And then if you're dealing with trains, you can have that go out there and set auto train animation. Geocoordinate services. This is where it's going to try to download the information to. And then scalable mesh. It talks a little bit here about how it creates a scalable mesh for imagery that you download. A lot of imagery is no longer available for us to download. Typically we've got some other places that we download our imagery now, but you can try to download from Geocoordination services if you like. There's two different methods. There's a streaming imagery, and then there's a scalable mesh for streaming imagery. Then there's also like a static imagery that you can bring down. Okay. Then the last one there, dealing with your network. You shouldn't ever have to really go into that network one because it sets a proxy server, and typically we won't do that. Okay. So that portion of it can pretty much stay the way it is. All right. So we'll go back to the backstage. We'll take a look at the help. Like I said, it's not the greatest help, but it does have documentation that you can look at. When you click on that, it's going to go out to the internet and pull the documentation for this program. There's OpenRoad's ConceptStation README file at the bottom. There's all kinds of different help available here. Most of the help just kind of says this is what the tool does, but it doesn't really show how to do it necessarily. We've been looking at the settings. So on this one, we can go down to settings and kind of have a little description of what different things do in the settings that we set. Okay, so left side driving, if you want to do that, it tells you what it does here. Whether you're going to do imperial or metric, what the background color information is. So there's a little bit of help out here available to you. Okay, you have the ability to submit an idea if you've got some issues. You can look at the user agreement, and then there's a list of people that helped put this together. On the backstage also, then you can go to the information tools. Information gives you information about this particular project. So it gives you the coordinates, it gives you the date it was created, and the file name and where it's located. So those are the kinds of things you can look at. The terrain sources, right now we don't have any terrain in here. We haven't downloaded anything, so if we click on it, we're not going to have any terrain here. But if you want to know where your terrain comes from, that's that button. Okay, and we can also exit out of ConceptStation here, and it will exit you out of the program.